Hi, friends. Welcome. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sarah, mindfulness teacher. And today I'm recording this from the Swiss vineyards where my family lives. Today I'd like to speak to the question why meditate? Why be mindful, actually? There are so many other things we can do in our day, and we already feel like our weeks are really short. And so, why should we sit? Why should we meditate? Why are people telling us to be mindful? What I'd like to start with is saying that there seems to be such a deep calling for the profound transformation that mindfulness and compassion can bring. If you look around, or if you look inward as well, there's a lot of suffering, right? People are suffering as individual, with physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, and societies are suffering as well, right? If you look around, I mean, between pandemic and the war, racism, climate change, there is so much fear and anxiety and this sense of separation in modern society. It's everywhere. And there are so many illnesses as well. Illnesses of individual bodies, like we said, and also sickness of collective bodies, whole cultures, and also the body of the earth, right? Nature getting pretty much destroyed. So why, we can relate that to how disconnected we are from the heart as individuals and as a society. And so, how to relate to all that, how to respond to all that in a way that is wise instead of reactive and from a place of peace. And that is where mindfulness and meditation come in. Because mindfulness and compassion, those tools and practices and teachings, really help us meet all that suffering with more calm and with more space and with more tolerance. And with mindfulness, what we do is we develop a capacity to hold all of this, right? The pleasant and the unpleasant, the deep joys, the bliss, the gladness, and also the sorrows, the grief, sadness, and the pain, because they're both part of life, right? Life is both beautiful and it's also really tough, and that's just how it is. And we're not going to change that. We're not going to change that because it's how the human experience is. So what we can do is we can learn to change our relationship to that and understand what's happening in a deeper way. And I think that's what our goal is when we sit down and we meditate and we practice. It's to be able to reach that place inside of us where we understand life better, we understand ourselves better, we understand our mind better, our emotions, and all the things that happen. And we have a bigger capacity to hold all of it without going completely bananas. So mindfulness, in summary, helps us quiet the mind and open our heart. Both are complementary and very important if we actually want to transform the world as well. Just one single drop at a time, because it always starts within. And there's this analogy as well of the waves and the ocean, that there's always going to be waves. That's just the nature of the ocean. There are going to be waves. And if we try to stop the waves, it's not really going to work. And we actually have more chance of drowning than stopping the wave. So what we can learn to do is to surf. We can acknowledge that there is a wave and it's impermanent. It came up and it's going to go the same way it arrived. And maybe we can ride it. Maybe we can try to have some fun while the wave is there. That sounds very easy. And for somebody who's learned to surf and been a beginner for a very long time, it's hard and it takes practice. and still we can remember that is what our intention is, you know. And I just want to say a little bit about the benefits of mindfulness and meditation that have been kind of described in medical research, because there's been a lot of research going on in the recent years, a lot of medical studies, and the results are fascinating. And I'm not going to mention all the findings and everything because it's actually so big and I don't know everything. I know very little actually, but what I know is more than enough to just inspire me and others to sit down every day to practice. So there are usually three categories of key benefits that have been uh, studied when it comes to mindfulness and meditation. The first one is what we call symptom reduction. So here we're talking about quality of life, and mindfulness has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety, to reduce depression and pain, and to increase the quality of life, such as sleep, great quality of sleep, and also help with physical and mental well-being. So all those are wonderful, because that's usually why people come to the practice in the first place. There's some stuff that's bothering them and they want to heal in some way, and that's a great entry door into mindfulness. The second category where mindfulness has proved to be very powerful is with the immune system, actually, what we call psychoneuroimmunology. Wow, that's a big word. And we're talking basically about biological markers such as cortisol. And mindfulness has been shown to actually impact the rate of cellular aging. So your body is aging, your cells are getting older and older. And depending on how much stress you have and how much you relate to that tension and stress, your body is going to age differently. And mindfulness really can influence there and impact moods at the same time. And there's been shown that there's really a correlation between the immune system and a practice of mindfulness, which it's fascinating when we know that also we're getting more and more sick, you know. And the third category, which is I think really the most mind-blowing, is neuroplasticity. And you may have heard about it. It's about the brain's ability to change and to transform itself. And what we do with daily mindfulness practice is that again and again and again, we come back to the present moment with kindness. And by doing so, we are literally rewiring the brain. And you may have heard that sentence, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is what's happening with mindfulness practice. We are teaching our brain to have new highways, new ways of relating to what's happening in our daily lives. It's like doing reps at gym. We're building muscles, brain muscles. And it's been shown that experienced meditators actually have a greater cell volume in the right prefrontal cortex, which is the home of emotional regulation. Basically, the place of the part of your brain that helps you not burn down the house when you're angry, which seems to be a very helpful skill. And it's been shown that it can happen actually quite fast. After only 4 weeks of practice, you can already notice growth of this area responsible for self-regulation. And it's huge, because can you imagine what would be the impact of such a practice over a whole life, a lifelong practice, how it could impact your brain and rewire it in a way that helps you be more at peace with present experience. It's huge, and I find it fascinating. These things are why mindfulness has become increasingly mainstream in the last decade. Right, it's been brought to the public with programs like MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, from John Kabat-Zinn. More and more people are experiencing the benefits of mindfulness, and is very important to note is that mindfulness didn't just, bob up out of the blue 10 years ago. It has Buddhist roots, and we're talking here about thousands of years of rich teaching traditions. And those teachings are not just about sleeping better, and sleeping great is super important. Don't that I'm not trying to dismiss the quality of sleep. And those teachings in the Buddhist tradition are really for liberation. So the bigger picture is about freeing ourselves, personal freedom and collective liberation. So when we sit and we meditate and we try to be mindful, we're not just increasing our physical well-being. We really practice understanding the nature of the mind. And yeah, what does the mind do? And having compassion for ourselves and understanding what is our human experience, what does it mean to be human. And this mindfulness and this compassion really open us up to the great mystery of life, and really unlock such a deeper sense of fulfillment and connection and belonging and purpose. And yeah, by understanding who we are in our essence, we're really stepping into wholeness and healing. And we're unlocking what my teacher Tara Brach calls the gold within, this goodness that we all have inside our heart. And it's a transformative journey. It's beautiful and it's deep and it's a lifelong practice, and it's transformative. And that's why I'm so excited to be here with you and to share those practices and these tools, is because we need them more than ever. And I hope that you will join me on this journey, and I look forward to sharing way more about this here online, guided practices, more talks, and yeah, be on this journey together. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I wish you a wonderful weekend, wonderful day. See you soon.